Welcome to Fish Fab. This episode we'll be stripping the front suspension down on the WR1. Right, as you can see, we got up to the point where we stripped all the suspension off the front. Also, straight after that, I've also stripped the fuel tank, so the fuel tank's now out the back, and we've also stripped out some reinforcement at the front of the subframes. We've also stripped that out so that can go for powder coating. So when you're watching that video of me stripping down the suspension, you'll probably notice that we actually ended up taking the hub assembly out with the drive shaft. Now, a lot of you might have done this before and thought that's an odd way of doing it, and it was stuck. We couldn't get the end of the drive shaft out of the hub. Normally, even with a set of pulley drawers and a little bit of a tap with a hammer, a bit of WD, you can get it out, but obviously this time it was absolutely sea solid. So what we ended up doing, we decided we took it out as a whole assembly. We managed to get it on the press. It went up to about 12-13 tons before we managed to crack it. Now when we looked at it, the hub had gone a bit blue, so at some point we think it had a bearing failure. I think it was probably the bearing that's in it. It's obviously got hot at some point and the heat has shrunk it onto the splines of the drive shaft. The drive shaft itself looks pretty good, but there is a bit of a blue tinge to the hub itself, so we think it's got hot. The bearings are being replaced as a part of course anyway, but we've also decided on the way that we've pressed it out, there's a good chance that we've managed to damage that flange. So what we're going to do is replace the flange, try and find a good quality second-hand one and use that, and then when we put it back together with the new bearings, everything should be back together. It's not a big problem, but these are the sort of things that you come against when you're taking a car apart that might not have been apart for 16 years, so from the day it was built. So these sort of things do crop up, and there's always a way out of them, but it's not always the way that you would normally take them apart. So I just thought I'd explain that in case somebody looked at it and went, that's a strange way of working. That was why we didn't, you know, it was stuck and it's the only way we could get around it. So basically that's the end of this episode. The next episode is going to be a little bit more in depth. What we found out is obviously I've started to strip all the underseal of this car ready for rapturing and sealing with some paint and bits and pieces. And we found a couple of holes that need welding. So the next episode will be welding up the holes. So hope you enjoyed this episode and we hope to see you on the next one. Cheers.